My name is Yasmin Jacobs.
Hi everyone, my name is Bing Xue.
And I'm Alicia Baytrup.
And we will be talking to you guys about the multiple oppositions approach today. So the multiple oppositions approach is an adaptation of the minimal pairs approach. And typically the multiple oppositions approach targets several error sounds that are represented in a collapse of phonemes. As we've learned, a collapse of phonemes targets several target sounds represented by the substitution of an error. An example of this would be a child that substitutes T for S, F, and Ch. The words to, su, few, and chew would all be pronounced as to. So in other words, all the initial phonemes have collapsed to two. Clients with multiple phoneme collapses typically display deficits in motor or articulation tasks and phonemic difficulties relating to the contrastive use of phonemes that create meaning. The deficits typically lie in both the production and the function of the sound system. And this approach addresses the motor and the phonemic difficulties displayed. Some guiding principles to the approach is 1, a child must learn and be taught the phonological rules in intervention. Second, intervention must focus on accurate productions. Third, feedback must reflect how different sounds may create different meanings. And lastly, it's best to incorporate in a naturalistic environment that helps facilitate a communicative context. So a way to use the target selection is by reviewing the client's assessment, using the preferred phonemes typically indicated in a phoneme collapse, which you see here in the image. Targets for therapy are selected via the phoneme collapse, and it's always best to target the phonemes from different sound classes, as this helps promote generalization within and across the classes, and development of multiple treatment sets for the set of phonemes. Here you will see a phoneme collapse representing multiple errors for stops, nasals, fricatives, liquids, glides, and affricates. Okay. So the multiple oppositions approach is divided into phases. So phase 1 is the child must learn about the target sounds. So for example, making the singing sound. Let's say your singing sound, la. The child will learn the vocabulary as the clinician will also model the words, often in pictures that are presented, and the production of the contrasts via the imitation of clinician model and the use of other strategies such as placement cues or metaphors. In the second phase, we focus on production of contrast during interactive play. So imitative production of contrast via the clinician modeling, and production of contrast during interactive play, such as crafts or playing kitchen or house. In phase 3, the contrasts are used in a communicative context. The target words are typically arranged in concentration style game or a matching card game. And the last phase, phase 4, conversational recasts. This is where the clinician will present conversational recasts to allow the child to self-correct production errors. Some advantages and disadvantages for this approach. An advantage, or advantages, is to restructure and reorganize the phonological system in a short period of time. It helps improve intelligibility for highly unintelligible kids, and it's a lot more efficient in intervention. Some disadvantages is that it's not suitable for phonological impairment that is dominated by syllable structure and prosodic errors. So the client that we have made up, her name is Jenna Johnson. I'm sorry. She's 4 and 3 months, and she has a diagnosis of phonological disorder that is secondary to autism spectrum disorder. Some background on Jenna is that she was diagnosed at 3.5 years old at Kaiser Permanente of Walnut Creek. In addition to this, she receives an hour of speech services once a week through Kaiser Permanente. During observed recess time at her school, she was observed sitting alone, and when classmates came up to her, she displayed frustration upon being misunderstood, as she is well aware of her phonological disorder. Her disorder is most frustrating for her when she is not around family, because they are the most patient with her when her phonological error patterns arise. And lastly, her parents are requesting additional services as they haven't seen improvements in her speech for a very long time. So some patterns, phonological error patterns that are present in Jenna is the collapsing of phonemes ga, fa, l, s, ka, sl, st, and tra to t in the initial word position. So tat for fat, tat for cat, toe for go, tay for stray, twing for swing, tide for slide, and tay for tray. Stopping, fronting, cluster reduction. Gliding, W for pre-vocalic R, so wabbit for rabbit, and cluster reduction, omission of S and S blend, tar for star. The sounds that are targeted in therapy should be distinctly distant from the substituted sound. Above is just a reminder of the errored sounds. Here is the substituted sound, ta, the voiceless alveolar stop obstruent, and the target sounds that we've chosen to include is l, ga, ka, and s. Some evidence-based rationales for the target sounds is ka and ga. According to Kosh, ka and ga should be mastered by 4 years of age. The l sound, according to Owens, at least 50% of all 4-year-olds can produce this sound, and most will have added L to their phonemic inventory by age 5. And lastly, S, it is the third most frequent consonant used in English. And the correct production of S would greatly improve her intelligibility. In terms of possible goals for our client, working on the l, ga, ka, and s sounds, the first goal is given a model cue, client will imitate the contrastive use of the phoneme t with the phonemes l, ga, k, and s in minimal pair treatment sets using the multiple oppositions intervention approach at the word level with 80% accuracy across 2 consecutive sessions. As a second goal, we have given picture stimuli. Client will produce and contrast the phoneme t with the phonemes l, ga, ka, and s in minimal pair treatment sets using the multiple oppositions intervention approach at the word level with 80% accuracy across 2 consecutive sessions. As a part of our demonstration, all the materials that are needed are just picture cards with words. So we will start, we'll get going with the demonstration.
Okay, so for the purpose of the demonstration, we'll only demonstrate the first phase where we will use the picture stimuli in the therapy room. Okay, so Jenna, sometimes you use the same sound for a lot of different sounds. So as a result, a lot of words sound the same. So today we are going to help you to make these sounds sound different. Okay, first I will read the words and just listen to me. To, ku, to, gu, to, su, to, lu, Okay. Now, I will read the words and I want you to click on the word that I have read. Okay? Okay, Jenna, can you point to the word Sue? Okay, can you point to the word cool? Yeah, great job. Can you point to the word to? Yeah, wonderful. Can you point to the word goo? Great. Which word is loo? Okay, great job. Now, Jenna, I'm going to say the words and I want you to say after me. Okay. Too cool.
Too cool.
Great. Too goo.
Too goo.
Wonderful. Too sue.
Too
Oh, I hear too. So remember the girl's name is Sue. It is a snake sound. Can you say the snake sound? Sue.
Sue.
Wonderful. Let's do it again. Too Sue.
Too Sue.
Good job. Now, too Lou.
Two.
Oh, I hear the two twice. For this sound, for this word, we have the sing sound. So to make the sing sound, you first make the t. Can you make the t?
T.
Yeah, t. And then I want you to open your mouth a little bit bigger and then move your tongue tip. So this is your tongue tip. Move your tongue tip a little bit back, just a little bit back, to produce the sing sound. Can you move the t sound, the tongue a little bit back? L. Yeah, can you say lu?
Loo.
Great job. I heard the sing sound, lu. Okay, can we say to lu?
To loo.
Wonderful. Now, Jenna, I want you to say these words on your own. Okay? Can you say it?
Too coo. Goo. Two.
Oh, I heard two. Are you saying the two or are you saying the girl's name?
Sue.
Yeah, great. I heard the snake sound. The girl's name has a snake sound. Sue.
Lou.
Yeah, I heard the sing sound. Good job, Jenna.
And then some other treatment strategies that could be useful in this approach is using metaphors. So for example, the G sound, remember to use your back sound with your voice box on. This is useful because it compares aspects of the sound to something the child is already familiar with. Metaphors are also effective with most preschoolers and school-age students. And after the metaphor is established, the child can then associate that metaphor with that treatment sound. For the shaping technique from ta to la, the child can learn to adjust a sound that's already in their phonemic inventory to a desired target sound. And additionally, T is already in JJ's phonetic inventory. So to shape from T to L only requires the client to move the tongue tip backward along the roof of the mouth. And that's our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.